Hello, YouTube. Welcome to day 10 of the 365 challenge, where I post a long form video every single day. And today we're going to be doing our very first color set review for Lorwyn Eclipsed. And that means we're going to go over every single white card in the main set and give it a rating between 1 through 10, based on how we think it's going to perform in the average sealed or draft. So I hope you guys will follow along. Let us know if you think we're wrong or right about some cards. You can tell us your ratings down below in the comments. But Yanks, how are you doing?
Good. How about you?
Good. Now, I'm always a lot more excited about white than you are, so we'll have to see. And
It's
it's interesting, we're going to get some merfolks, right?
it's just so full of creatures. Who wants that?
I love creatures. All right, so let's jump right in. We have the Adept Water Shaper, 3 mana, 3/4. Other tapped creatures you control have indestructible. I was like, wow, that's really good. And then I saw it was a rare. I was like, okay, well,
Yep.
but a 3 mana, 3/4 is crazy high above rate, and I definitely loves to see that.
Pretty simple card, especially for a rare, but it's certainly powerful.
Yeah, any activated abilities, any vehicle or something could make this really cool to make a tapped creature indestructible. Your attacker's indestructible. I think this is an absolute house.
It's a removal magnet, right? They have to kill this thing first.
Yeah,
So
and with a bigger butt, it's going to avoid things like lightning strike type mechanics. Red usually does have a 3 power or like a 3 damage removal spell.
for sure, we'll have to see as we get into the set what that critical toughness number is. It's always a little different, but 4 is usually a pretty good place to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I don't think this is crazy good, but it's certainly going to win some games. I would say this is starting to be an 8.
I think so. It's not higher than that because right, you can just Doomblade it. It dies to Doomblade, as some people have talked about in a podcast recently. But
It does indeed die to Doomblade. All right, so we're in agreement on an 8.
yep.
All right, let's move on to card number 2. A Johnny Outland Chaperone. We've got a 3 mana, 3 loyalty planeswalker. You could plus it to make a 1/1 green and white Kithkin creature token. At first I thought that said kitten. I was like, that's interesting. -2, you can have it deal 4 damage to a tapped creature. And for -8, you could look at the top X cards of your library, where X is your life total. That's a lot of cards. You may put any number of non-land permanent cards with mana value 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Wow, that -8 seems really cool for any sort of like deck I would like to have in constructed. I mean, it's not super great ability for sure, but it sounds like fun. I would play that.
It does, and like most planeswalkers, it's been a couple sets since they don't have them in UB, so we didn't have any in Avatar. But like most planeswalkers, the ultimate's kind of not that important for the rating.
No.
Like usually, most of the time, it's either like a weird one that does nothing relevant in limited, or it's just always going to win the game on all the planeswalkers. So it's really about the first 2 abilities and how long does it take to get them.
And the other thing too is, even if you have a busted wins the game ultimate on a planeswalker, it still usually doesn't matter in limited, because of the fact that if you can plus this thing 3 or 4 times to get to the ultimate, you've already won, right? Like the plus on a planeswalker that is uncontested is, even the weak ones, just enough value to get you W's anyway. So I still think that that's really good. Of course, it's a good failsafe, but the chances of you getting to 8 and not having already won is, it's a bit of a win more. I would say this is just a 10 straight up.
Yeah, it's a 3 mana planeswalker. I think that's right. Like I'm gonna say a little bit lower because the first 2 abilities are good, but they're not game breaking. But it's so cheap.
So I was gonna say, like, typically I think if this was like, plus or make a kitten and then like put counters or make 2 kittens or something like that, I would say like a 9.5. But the fact that that second tier is removal, to me, that really brings it up a notch. If I get to remove something, I feel like I have a much better chance of this thing surviving, or I can make a kitten, make it more surviving. I know it says Kithkin, but whatever. The removal on it really elevates it in my perspective. For a 3 mana planeswalker, this is, I think, an absolute house.
My only hesitation on it is it's not really that great if you're behind. Like the 1/1 doesn't probably stabilize you.
But
If you're behind by a very little bit, maybe killing something the thing does. But
I
if it's
think a removal
if
spell
it's
is always
tapped,
good.
oh, it's always good. Just not sure it's 10 good. But I think it's still just 3-mana planeswalkers always overperform. So
Yeah,
I think a 10 is
it's gonna
fine.
win. It's going to win the game if left to do its thing, and you get that initial
Yep.
value right away. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Yep.
All right, next up we have a 4-mana instant with Convoke. 1 or 2 target creatures get +2/+1 until end of turn. The appeal to Irdu. That's what we're gonna call it, Irdu.
Airdo. Something
Erdu.
like that.
I like that it has Convoke. It is in like that archetype. The Kithkins are very go wide, very convokey. So to me, even though this is astronomically expensive, I would never look at this card. I think it's going to be more playable, but I don't think by a ton.
I think there's like no chance I ever cast this card in the entirety of this set.
I will
Not that it's
cast
that
it.
bad, but there are going to be better tricks than this.
I don't know. In a Convoke is specifically a Convoke set, so I'm willing to give it a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say it's a 5.
I'll just say a 4. Like you can stick it in your deck, but I'm gonna be pretty unhappy with it.
Yeah, 4s are like the area where I start to like maybe not play it ever. Whereas like I think 5 is gonna make the cut in probably I would guess like a third of my white decks. I might play one of these. For Kithkin type S.
Sure.
All right. The Bark of Doran. 2 mana for an equipment. Equip creature gets +0/+1. As long as equip creature's toughness is greater than its power, reasonable with the ability, it assigns combat damage as though it through its toughness rather than its power. Equip 1. This is something I'm going to want to put in some of my commander decks. I like me a big booty commander deck, but in limited, I have a sneaking suspicion this is not going to be good.
I mean, the +0/+1, and then that clause is like basically worse than +1/+0. A lot of times, because sometimes it's not even going to deal help through damage.
Yeah, it might not if you have a weird deck and you have like a 3/2 or something, 4/2s, but that's mostly in like Gruul. But it just seems too situational. Now maybe Simic has some sort of like big butts-esque turtle synergies. Maybe, but I mean, this is in white, so that doesn't even work. But you know what I mean. I think this is probably like a 2.
Plus, being good in a Simic deck is almost like a negative thing in limited at this point.
Because the deck itself is butt. Yeah, that makes sense.
It might trap you into those colors, and that's dangerous. Yeah, I think this is like, what did you say, a 2?
I think it's a 2.
Yeah, I think that's right. You're not playing this card. Maybe you'll somehow you'll end up with some maybe black-white deck or blue-white deck that has a bunch of like 1/4s.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll find a spot for it, but you're going to play this card like once the entire format.
Yeah, agreed. All right, next up, a 3-mana 3/2 Kithkin Warrior. Whenever this creature enters, transform it. It transforms into the next side. Create a 1/1 green-white Kithkin creature token. At the beginning of your first main phase, you may pay green if you do transform it. Whenever this creature enters or transforms. Yeah. Okay, that's what I was going to say.
Because they all transform back.
Yes, I was missing that the ability triggered on ETB and on transform.
Yep.
I was reading the first part funky. And then I don't have the backside.
Okay, so the backside is Brigid Down's Mind. It's green. It's a 3/2 legendary Kithkin soldier. You can tap it to add X green or X white mana, where X is the number of other creatures you control. And at the beginning of your first main phase, you can pay white to flip it back to the front side. There's a common theme on these transform cards in the set that I think all of them, or at least most of them, cost exactly 1 mana of a different color to flip, and then 1 mana of the front side's color to flip back.
Yeah, I hope I can find them. That's going to be really awkward for me to not have the backside on any of these cards. Yeah. Hopefully there's not that many flip cards.
I think there's 7 in the whole set or something.
Well, this card wants to go like specifically the Kithkin want to go wide. They want to convoke. I feel like this is going to be a really good signpost rare for those decks. It's the right color pairing. I think everything here is what the Kithkin deck wants to be doing. So 7?
Would you play this card if you're not Selesnya? Probably, right? It's just it's a 3-mana 3/2
yeah.
and a 1/1.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So yeah, so it's a pretty good card even if you can't flip it. The backside is really only useful in a pure Selesnya go wide deck.
Yeah, I mean
But
Kyoshi Warriors was a very solid card. I call Kyoshi Warriors a 6. It's 1 more mana, but you get only 1 more toughness.
Agreed, and you get the option to, like, on a stalled board, you get the option to, even though it's slow, you can, like, slowly flip it back and forth to gain extra value if you're just sitting there, like,
dirtling,
staring at a bunch of X5s or something.
Yeah. Do you agree with the 7?
I think so, yeah.
All right. Well, I was trying to find the backsides of these cards, but I don't think I can, so we're just going to have Yanks read them because I can't seem to find them in my save files. All right, next up we have a 4/4 for 2 mana. It is a giant warrior. That's the Boros sort of creature type here. This creature enters with 2 -1/-1 counters on it, and you can pay 2, remove a counter from this creature. Target creature gains indestructible till end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. So that's a fun one.
So for anybody that, people that watched our intro video, like, this is kind of the funky Boros theme where you're getting creatures with very large base power and toughness that are coming in with -1/-1 counters. So I think that this will be interesting, right? It's a 2/2, but it just gets bigger. I hate the activate only as a sorcery, but it would probably be way too good without that.
Yeah, and it's just got a lot of upside. I think this is a really cool card for Boros. We saw the signpost like hybrid card that had a similar effect, and it's specifically blight aggro, which is not a thing we thought was going to be. We thought it was very weird, and I think they're, so far from what we've seen, executing it quite well. So this is exactly what I want to be doing in Boros. It looks like a really good signpost. Sorcery speed's a little iffy, but it means you can send some stuff into combat, which is nice. Rating wise, I don't think it's anything special. So if it was instant speed, then this would be crazy good. But I'm gonna say 5.5.
That sounds right. I do like the fact that it's a 2-drop that still is somewhat relevant later in the game.
Yeah.
Because even if it costs a bunch more mana, you can at least make it a 4/4. But yeah, I think 5.5 seems fair.
It's just really nice to be able to get some of your creatures like across the finish line. You can attack into some things you might not be able to hopefully push through some more damage or force blocks that they don't want to make. I like Boros having access to more tools.
True.
All right, 4 mana for a 4/5 with flash as an additional cost to cast this spell. Behold a Kithkin and exile it. What?
So either you have to exile one that's on the battlefield or
that's a steep cost. This better be very good. Other Kithkin you control get +1/+1, and when this creature leaves the battlefield, return the exile card to its owner's hand. Okay, so at least you get it back.
So this is very much a throwback to an original Lorwyn mechanic called Champion, which was champion a something, and when it entered the battlefield, you had to sacrifice the creature unless you exile whatever that object is, and then you get it back. So this is just kind of the champion of the. It was in Lorwyn and Morning Tide. I think it's just throwing a kind of reference back to that original mechanic.
Plus, he's so cute. He's such a little guy on a big old bear, and he's so chompy. I like the Kithkin Lord. I think that we're going to be making, as we saw from the previous rare, a ton of Kithkin tokens. So I expect this to be quite powerful. It's already well statted. It's probably going to eat something when you flash it in. Overall, very, very happy with this card. I would say 7.5.
Yeah, it's a big flash body, which you don't see that often, which is nice. That's going to eat something when it comes into play. So, yeah, 7.5. I like that.
let's move on to the next card. We have a 3-mana Kindred Kithkin enchantment. When it enters, create 2 green and white Kithkin creature tokens for 3 mana. Not bad. And for 5, you can create another Kithkin creature token. This seems pretty good.
You didn't want to try. You didn't want to try the name.
The Klechan Festival.
I don't actually know. I think it's Klacken, but I'm not sure.
The Klechan Festival. I'm not going to be saying any of the names in this whole damn set, and please don't call me out every time. I don't know if you've noticed, but I have been saying way less of the names than I normally do. So here we are. Rating wise, I think this is really good. It reminds me of like the Bloomborough artifact that made a bunny, and then you could sack it for food, make a bunny. Now, I know it's very different. It costs more, but you get 2 bodies up front, and it's a long-term generation where you can make more and more stuff over time. It's going to be great for board stalls. It's going to help you with Convoke. I think this is what I want to be doing in this Kithkin color.
I'm curious how good this card is. It does feel exactly what Kithkin want to be doing.
Yep.
So, assuming that deck is good enough, this will be great.
Now, the problem I see with this is how fast is this format? Because this is the kind of thing that I think would slide with like Avatar: The Last Airbender, but the kind of thing you do not get to play in All Will Be One. And I'm sure, there's a huge range in there, but I think this has to be closer to Avatar than All Will Be One in order for it to work.
Agreed. It also has to be closer to Avatar than All Will Be One for me to play the set.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Rating wise, I think that, like, again, if the format can support the speed of this card, I think it's pretty solid. I'm going to call that a 6.
That's where I was going to say 6.
All right. Next, we have Crib Swap, 3 mana for a Shapeshifter Changeling. Exile target creature. Its controller creates a 1/1 colorless Shapeshifter token with Changeling. So that's cute. It counts as a kindred spell for any creature type. So it's going to synergize with anything that you might have.
Yeah, I think this is just a straight reprint, right?
I'm not sure. The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's definitely been in like Double Masters, and I remember where it was originally, probably one of the Lorwyn sets. Or it was in Battle for Baldur's Gate. So yeah, and original Lorwyn, yeah.
I'm surprised it's not a fairy, because isn't that the lore is that there's a fairy? It's called a fairy changeling that takes place of a baby, right? That's like a myth-ish thing that the fairies will steal a baby and then replace it with a fairy changeling baby.
Yeah, and you can kind of see that in the flavor text. It says, nestled in a fairy ring.
Yep. So kind of interesting. Rating wise, I never love giving my opponents anything like a +1/+1. We see this with like Stroke of Midnight. Those kinds of cards typically don't tend to be premium removal, but they're certainly playable if you need them. Myth-ish thing equals folklore. Yeah. Good call. That's exactly the word that my brain wanted, but could not access. I think these are usually fine.
I think that's what I'm going to call bad mythics from now on. Mythish things.
Mythish things.
Yeah, these cards are fine. I do like that it exiles. That's nice.
Like Stroke of Midnight was usually so bad.
Yeah.
Like I always felt really bad playing it.
There's usually room for like one of these in your deck.
Yeah, I'm going to say 5.5.
I think so. It's certainly not premium, and we'll see much better removal in probably every color to this.
I don't think I ever played Stroke the last time it was printed. What was it, Final Fantasy or something?
I don't know. I'm thinking Wilds of Eldraine, but...
Next up, we have the Curious Colossus, 7 mana for a 7/7 giant warrior. When this creature enters, each creature target opponent controls loses all abilities. All right. Becomes a coward in addition to other types and has base power and toughness 1/1. So it's almost like a board clear? Like a...
Yeah, it just turns them all into 1/1s, and they can't block warriors.
That's really cool. So we saw this with like what Wilds, the original Throne of Eldraine, I think, had an adventure giant that on the one side was a board clear because the giant
Yep.
smashes and clears the
Yep.
countryside and then comes down as a big giant. So I think I like the flavor here of like everything, no matter how big you have a Kithkin or you have like a Meese? Mooses are huge. A moose is ginormous, but they're all 1/1s compared to this big giant. I think that's very cute. I think this card is quite playable. I'm going to say that this is a 8. It's maybe a 9. So. I just worry I'm not going to be able to cast it. 7, like how many times did I have a goddamn cat gator in a mono black deck and just couldn't play the damn thing? So like 7 gets to be to the point where I am very hesitant to assume I can cast it.
Yeah, I still think I'm pretty high in this card for a couple reasons. One being the -1/-1 counters we're going to see in the set. It just kills anything that has those on them.
Yeah.
And this effect doesn't end when it leaves battlefield. It's a permanent effect.
Yeah.
So, which is not how I read it initially. So
I think it's very, very good if you can cast it. So it's probably like a 7, or I'm sorry, like an 8 or a 9 at the high end if you have some ramp, like maybe in Selesnya. But Selesnya is like little shitters go wide. I'm not really looking for 7 drops in that deck either.
I think I have this at like an 8. It could be higher. I think it's higher if the format is slow enough, but we don't know that yet.
I also have it at an 8. All right, next up we have the Irdu, Carrier of Dawn, 5 mana for a 5/5 flying lifelink creature. Spells you cast have Convoke, so it's going to make all your stuff cheaper. And at the beginning of your first main phase, you can pay a black to flip it. And we have the backside to Islu, Carrier of Twilight. Whatever. Don't be mean to me in the comments. It turns into a legendary elemental god with lifelink and flying. Each other non-token creature you control has persist. That's pretty scary. And then you can flip it over at the beginning of the next main phase if you want, of the first main phase. So the front side just lets you like slam out a bunch of creatures and then you can give them all persist, which is really cool. This card seems pretty busted. Great stats on its own already.
Yeah, 5 mana, 5/5 lifelink with evasion plus several other things. It's great. 5, and it's the same on both sides for its abilities or the keywords.
I'm going to call this a 9.5.
I'm going to say 9, but I think the card's really good.
Yeah, I think if you can untap with it, you're winning some games.
I only hedge down just because I think it's like a 9.5 in Orzhov. Because the backside, being able to flip it does matter like a little more than it did for the last one.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's still like just the front side is kind of a 9 in any deck, right?
Agreed. That's why I've got it as a 9 because it's a 9 anywhere.
I think that's a fair assessment if you're talking about other color pairings and you cannot flip it. I think a 9 is fair.
Yeah.
Encumbered Regiri?
Regiri.
Why are they doing this to me? 2 mana for a 5/4 Merfolk. This creature enters with 3 -1/-1 counters on it. When this creature becomes tapped, while it has a -1/-1 counter on it, you get to remove it. So that seems really good for Boros. Boros Smash. It's a 3/2 for 2 mana already. Oh no, it has 3 -1 counters on it. Well, but it attacks as a 3 mana, 2 mana 3/2. That's aggressive as hell.
Yeah, it is it's an uncommon, so figure it had to be somewhat better than just a 2 mana 2/1. But yeah.
And it's interesting because it's doing the negative counter thing that Boros wants to be doing, and it's a Merfolk, which is the Azorius color pairing. So I think there's nothing I don't like about this card. It attacks above rate on curve, very aggressive, has counters for manipulation, has creature type. I call this a 6.
Yeah, presuming since you're in white, you're probably at least somewhat aggressive. I think this card is great. It's a pretty crappy blocker, but that's about it. Otherwise, it's really good.
I don't know. If my 2-drop turns into a 5/4, I think it blocks just fine.
But if you're not aggressive, it just sits as a 2/1.
Yeah, that's true. You have to be able to
That's
get
what
in
I mean.
with it, but
Yeah.
I'm
I still think the card's great. You're going to play
Yeah.
it everywhere because white decks generally do want to at least do some attacking.
yeah. So 6?
Yep.
All right. Ever Shrike's Gift. I hate it here. I want to go back to Avatar. 1 mana for an enchant creature aura. The creature gets +1/+0 and has flying. And for 2 mana, you can blight 2, return this card from your graveyard to your hand, activate only as a sorcery. These kinds of enchant auras that you can bring back out of the graveyard tend to be quite good. And as we're seeing with Boros, you actually want to remove -1/-1 counters to activate those abilities. So Boros getting flying and beating you in the face and then getting more of the things that you need to activate your abilities actually seems pretty legit.
These cards are so annoying to play against.
Yeah, I love it. I think this card's very cool.
And a lot of times in your white decks, when you're talking Boros or you're talking Selesnya, this is kind of a lot of times this might just read like 3 mana, sacrifice a 1/1 token to give something +1/+0 and flying.
Yeah, if in your Kithkin deck or whatever, that's absolutely fine. So Kithkin are going to have ammo for this. Boros are going to have ammo for this. Orzhov is like value blight, so I think you have ways to manipulate those counters, maybe move them off, move them to your opponent's cards. We've seen a lot of white cards already that can remove counters from themselves naturally. So I think there's nothing I don't like about this card. That said, it's still just like a kind of a lowish impact aura that can win a game if your opponents can't deal with it. But it's cheap to recur. I like it. I'm going to say this is like a 6. I'm probably not cutting one of these.
I think so too. They're so irritating for your opponent to play against. And anytime that's the case, that means the card's got to be good some way. Somewhat.
Absolutely. Next up, we have the Flock Imposter. 3 mana for a 2/2 changing, flash, and flying. When this creature enters, return up to 1 other target creature you control to its owner's hand. So it's a nice little, save your creature from combat tricks, save your creature from removal. A flash flyer that's going to do those things with, Windrake stats, which also just counts for any creature type. Kithkin most likely, or I guess Merfolk in this color pairing. I think this card's great.
It's nice to see a Windrake that's actually playable for once now.
Right. Yeah, Windrake +++.
It only needed 3 other abilities.
Oh, we're so old. Oh man, our entire existence has been power crept out. So rating wise, I think this card is very, very good. I don't think I'm cutting this. I'm gonna call it a 6.
Same.
All right, next up, the Gallant Foul Knight. Oh, he's so fat. 4 mana for a 3/4 Kithkin. When this creature enters, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Kithkin creatures you control also gain first strike. This is going to be an excellent, sort of curve topper, right? If you're Kithkin aggro, 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, this thing, you play multiples of these, they're going to pile up really well and give you a little trumpet blast, which actually can win the game in these. So I think this is a very reasonable card, and I doubt I'm cutting the first one in a Kithkin deck.
Certainly, any deck you're going to go wide, really, I'm not cutting this, which is mostly Kithkin, but maybe some Boros as well.
I'm trying to think. There was an angel in, I can't remember, but it was it gave +1/+1 in vigilance. And I know that's a much bigger card. It's also a 3/3 flyer on its own, but that card was a house.
Yeah.
And the first strike is nothing to sniff at. And if you have 5 tokens, this becomes a lethal threat very, very quickly that your opponent's not expecting for a common. Now, that said, it's not, I'm saying it's good, but good in that it's going to make the cut in the deck. Not that it's
exactly.
You shouldn't be first picking it. Hopefully, you can find some removal or a rare or something. But I still think this is very playable in the Kithkin deck. I think it's a 5.5 on average, and I think it will be a 5 I'm just going to say 5.5 average because this is kind of a split card, but not enough for me to
Not
actually
enough.
split it. Yeah, it's like a 4.5, maybe a 6 in the right, Kithkin deck.
Just a little bit lower. I'm going to say a 5 just because I always worry about my 4-drop slot getting clogged.
Yeah, I haven't found that like I agree with you, and that's been a standpoint that I've had for many years, and I find that hasn't been the case anymore. The formats are much quicker, and more 4-drops are chaff. That tends to be the chaff slot. So I haven't been running into that issue as much as I used to, like, let's say 2-3 years ago, but we'll see. All right, the Gold Meadow Nomad, 1 mana for a 1/2. Kithkin specifically. You can pay 1, exile this card from your graveyard, create a 1/1 green and white Kithkin creature token, activate only as a sorcery. Okay, so it's 2 bodies. I like that. Kithkin really want to convoke. They want to go 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, and then mini trumpet blast the board, give them all first strike, and it's going to give you a second body later, which is really nice. Yeah, I think this card's very playable. I would say this is a 5.
It's super low impact, but anything that's going to give you potentially two bodies for 1 piece of cardboard this cheap is probably worth sticking in some decks. So I think a 5.
The other thing too is it's one of those cards that's like right on that border of playable. In the Kithkin deck, it's gonna make the cut. In the not Kithkin deck, in your Orzhov Blight deck, probably not making the cut. So you'll know when you want this card, but it is a playable card.
Sure.
Next up, Keep Out. 2 mana for an instant. You get to choose 1. It's going to deal 4 damage to a tapped creature, notably at instant speed, which is nice, or destroy an enchantment. I like this card. I like the flexibility.
Getting destroy target enchantment, destroy target artifact, something like that for free on a card you play anywhere is always worth putting in your deck.
Now, it's typically 2 mana to destroy a target attacking or blocking creature, so you're getting flexibility in that you can destroy the enchantment. You can also destroy creatures with abilities that are not tapped or like attacking or blocking, so that's nice. But you do lose the ability to be Boros swinging into their stuff and killing their blockers. So you're going to lose a little flexibility. I think this is worse in Boros than the other version because you want to be that aggressor. But I still think this is very solid. I would say I'm not cutting one of these.
No, it's cheap.
6?
It's cheap enough. I'm probably playing a couple of these.
Yeah, I think I would as well. I'm going to call this a 6.
Like I'd say like 6.5.
All right. Next up, we have the Kin Binding. 5 mana for an enchantment. Creatures you control get +X/+X, where X is the number of creatures that entered the battlefield under your control this turn. So that's going to make that like Kithkin enchantment a little bit better.
Yep.
At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 green and white Kithkin creature token. So it's going to fuel it itself. You're guaranteed to get a +1/+1 to all of your creatures every turn, in addition to getting a free body every turn, even if you can't go to combat. So this seems great.
Yeah, and it's interesting that it just kind of happens. It's not like at the beginning of combat or they just get it. There's no trigger, which is interesting.
Well, you get the Kithkin at the beginning of combat. So unless you're playing your creatures pre-combat. So
I just mean like if you play a creature and it's not like they can respond to like an ETBing or something and killing it to remove, I don't know, or kill something else. There's no trigger for a plus ability.
Notably, we've seen 2 flash creatures already in white, which isn't known for its flash creatures. So that's pretty cool. That's going to make those much cooler. I think this card is excellent. If left to do its thing, I think it's going to win you the game. It's a little low impact to start, so if you're not already ahead, you're not winning. But I would say 8.5.
I think so. It's obviously it's good if you're ahead. It's also good if you're at parity, or just sitting on like a stalled board for a while. Like it eventually will break that.
Yeah.
So I think so. 8.5.
Kinsbale Aspirant, 1 mana for a 2/1 Kithkin. As initial cost to cast the spell, behold a Kithkin or pay 2. Whenever another creature you control enters, this creature gets +1/+1 till end of turn. I think this is exactly the Kithkin deck and nothing else. I do not like paying 3 for a 2/1. Its ability is solid for like the aggro Kithkin deck, but like you really need to be pumping out a lot of bodies. So I think a good Kithkin deck is going to love this, and a mediocre Kithkin deck is not going to want this.
Yeah, I don't love 1-drops that I can only sometimes play on turn 1.
Yeah. So that said, it only goes in one deck, so I'm going to say this is a 4. The average deck does not care about this, and the deck that does want it, it has to be a pretty high quality deck.
Definitely. It's I don't have much to add to that. It only goes in one place, like you said.
All right. 2 mana for a 2/2 Kithkin Soldier with first strike and lifelink. We already did this one. Oh, I already read this one and we had to redo it.
So exactly. This is where we skipped to.
YouTube hasn't seen this one yet. Yeah, 2/2 first strike lifelink for 2 mana. Whenever this creature attacks, you may put a creature onto the battlefield from your hand that is tapped and attacking or acts as the number of attacking creatures. Very Boros, very Selesnya. I think this card is excellent. I'm going to say that this is a 7.
I think so. Again, it's a little bit like the last card in that it's only going in specific decks, but it's a bigger range than the last deck. Like this, if you're sitting in like a blue-white control deck, this card doesn't really do anything. But otherwise, you have a bigger range than certainly the last one. So I like it as a 7.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good in like Azorius, because that's like sort of Merfolky go wide. I think it's going to be excellent in Kithkin, clearly. I think it's going to be excellent in Boros. So it's really just like Orzhov that you're looking out for. And even then, Orzhov tends to have quite a few shitters, so we'll see.
Orzhov and Azorius is Merfolk. I'm still skeptical how aggressive that's gonna be, just because those are your classic control colors. But we'll see.
Yeah, but Azorius in limited is very rarely control. It's usually like tempo flyers. You know what I mean? Like
it is flyers a lot.
So it tends to be a little bit more creature oriented than you might think. But
not in a go wide way. Usually.
Oh man, can you imagine like attacking and slamming a free Frostlinks like pre blocks? Oh, that's gonna feel so sexy. Oh, it's gonna feel so good. My little heart can't take it. Do you agree with a 7?
I do.
All right, moving on. That's a little creepy looking. I don't really know what's happening here. 7 mana for a 3/3 elemental with Vivid, which is not the elemental colors, right? Because it's Simic and Gruul are like elementally.
Elementals is it, and then Simic and Gruul are the Vivid colors.
That's right. That's the other. So Simic, yeah. I thought one of them was more elemental oriented, but either way, this is it, so that's fine. So it's weird to see this in white. When this creature enters, create X 1/1 green and white Kithkin creature tokens, where X is the number of colors among permanents you control. Tap 3, untap creatures you control. This creature gets +3/+0 and gains flying till end of turn. I don't want to be doing Vivid in any of the Boros or Selesnya things that want Kithkins and want bodies, so I do not like this card.
No, I think this is supposed to kind of be like a Cloud Goat Ranger callback, which was a 5 original Lorwyn 5 mana 3/3, make 3 1/1s, and you could tap the 3 1/1s to give it +2/+0 and flying.
I think this is not for, because it's a little deceptive, right? I feel like it looks like it wants to be in a Kithkin deck, but I think this is just like 5-color hot stuff pile. Like the Vivid archetype is going to be all of the colors, and this is just one of those payoffs.
I could see that.
So yeah, I don't think that this is going to go into any of the classic like double color pairings. This is only just going into the 5-color pile, which I have no idea if that's going to be any good. Sometimes it's amazing. Sometimes it's kind of bad. This one feels understated personally. So I'm going to say this is like a 4.
I think so too. I'm not sure that 5-color deck really exists. It's probably just when Simic goes wrong, which is most of the time.
I think it exists because they gave it a whole ass mechanic.
Yeah, there's not a lot of
And
fixing. At
and
least
there's
it's not in terms of lands. There's
and
just
there's
not.
two colors that have vivid in the title, like in their description. So like they have to have other color permanents, otherwise they do
Unless
literal nothing.
green has a lot of fixing because there's no real fix. There's no real land fixing in this set.
We're gonna find out. Maybe we get some like Aang's Journey or like
Sure.
Blasting Jelly.
Yeah.
Some fun utility stuff. Water Skin. Like Avatar had a ton, and it didn't want 5-color garbage pools, dumpster amalgamations. So maybe if this has with Vivid, I feel like we should get some of those things. We'll find out. Liminal Hold. 4 mana for an enchantment. When this enchantment enters, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent an opponent controls. Until this enchantment leaves the battlefield, you gain 2 life. So you get a little bonus for an extra mana.
That's a terrible trade.
Yeah, especially because there's not like a gain life archetype, right? Like you're not getting fringe triggers off of this. That said, I'm still playing it.
Yeah, it's still good. It's still good.
It's still good. It's no longer a 8. It is now like a 6.5.
I'll still probably give it a 7 because it's probably the best we get in white.
I hope not.
Maybe there's an uncommon, but that sort of O-ring effect is usually some of your best white removal.
All right. Minder's Guide, 3 mana for a 3/2 Merfolk Scout. When this creature attacks, you may tap another untapped Merfolk you control. When you do, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's really, really strong, but it probably can only do it once because he's got an itty bitty booty.
Yep.
But if your opponents can't handle it, so like if you go like pre-combat removal, gotcha, tap my dude, bring this back, like that seems really strong.
Or you just get like 2 of these going and they keep bringing each other back.
Yeah, and they keep trading. So that's that. I think this card is excellent. It's just the impact is pretty wild. It's not very consistent. 0 chance we're cutting this. Let's say 7. Very high power.
I think so. You have to have another Merfolk, but they've made it pretty clear blue-white is supposed to be Merfolk. So
yeah,
so I'm going to presume we get enough of them to make this worthwhile. But it is a kind of one deck card.
I agree. I think there's like still some decks, like I'm seeing an okay amount of Merfolk where I don't think the number of Merfolk needs to be super high for me to want to run this. But it needs to not be 0. I think it needs to be like 5.
And there are changelings too that help.
Yeah, changelings. I don't think that this needs to be specifically in the Merfolk deck, but I agree the 7 is kind of assuming you are. But it's really hard to evaluate cards when the color pairings, there's 5 creature types that matter, or 4 really. And then you have these creature type cards. We can't really say, oh, well, only Merfolk deck wants it, so it's garbage. You can't really rate it that way. You have to sort of assume that you're able to Merfolk. And if Merfolk can't happen with any regularity, then the set is poorly designed.
Fair.
All right. Moonlit something. 3 mana for a 2/5.
Lamenter.
3 mana for a 2/5 Tree Folk Cleric. It enters with a -1/-1 counter on it, and you can pay 2, remove a counter from this creature, draw a card, activate only as a sorcery. Wow. I love this. Holy shit, I love this.
This is where you're putting blight counters on over and over again.
And that makes me want to play the stupid aura.
Yeah.
Wow. 5 mana, play a 2/5 draw a card. That's excellent.
Yep.
I love this card.
Yeah, I think this card's great. And I hope it is, because that means the format's not too crazy fast.
Also, like, a 3 mana 1/4 is going to brick all of the aggro decks. Right?
Yep. Yep.
That's just so good. Like, Kithkin can kiss my butt, right? It's gonna brick most, like, and then you can just draw a card, and then they are never getting past its 5 butt. Wow, I love this card. That
Yeah, I
said,
think this,
it's not like the highest impact, but it is like a snowbally, good value, very solid card. I'm very
as long
high
as
on it, but I think the impact is too low to quite give it a 7. I'm going to say 6.5, but I like it like a 7.5.
I think I'll give it a 7 because
That's
I love the phrase draw card. So
that was my original instinct as well, but oh man, if you can put more counters on it, oh, it's going to be beautiful. I love that card a lot. All right, next up we have a 4 mana sorcery. Exile any number of target creatures. At the beginning of your next end step, return those to the battlefield tapped under their owner's control. Until your next turn, prevent all damage that would be dealt to you. Exile this.
yeah. Until I just read it for like the 3rd time, I didn't realize it said sorcery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they all come back in tapped, so you can't block. Oh, this is exile any number of creatures, though. You can exile all of theirs and then kill them. When I first read this, I saw the sorcery part, but I assumed it was my creatures, and I was like,
oh yeah.
So ETBs. Yeah, I think this is a wonky card. This feels a little like Avatar State, where it's like if you're behind, you're not really doing anything, and if you're like ahead, it doesn't necessarily help. And sometimes it wins. Like Avatar State was not bad. We're certainly running it, but it had such a wide ceiling and floor range that I don't know how to evaluate it super well. I'm gonna say this is like a 4. I don't want to play this in most decks.
No, it's just like you're saying. It ranges from doing absolutely nothing helpful to being like the only card that can win certain games.
Yeah.
And just completely break a board stall.
I think it's playable, but I'm not going to give it too much credit. 4 for me.
So any number of turns. Yeah, so I guess you get a free turn, not taking any damage, which is nice. So even like you can attack even, and then they can't even attack you back.
Does it though? They attack you back right away.
Until your next turn, prevent all damage.
Oh yeah. I was like, they come back, Yanks.
Yeah,
it's not the turn after next.
No.
There's more words on the card. Yeah.
They can attack you.
I forgot about the second part of the stupid spell.
So I think I'll give it I'll give it a 5, which even just feels a little bit like a cop out. But you can like pick some of your own creatures to get ETBs as well. Like there's enough there that I'll give it a 5.
All right, next up, Personify. 2 mana for an instant, exile target creature you control. Then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. You get to create a colorless shapeshifter to boot. I like that. An instant speed, protect my stuff, trigger my ATBs, make another body. Anytime something gives you an extra body like that, I think it's pretty solid. I'm going to say I'm playing this card. 5.5.
I want to make sure I have enough useful ETBs, but in sets nowadays, that's pretty much every deck.
Cards like this also tend to go up in value if you have like really solid like rares, even if only 1 or 2. Just really worth it to protect them.
Yep, I think 5.5.
Or when they try to blow you out with combat tricks, getting to flicker your dude, and then they just have the same problem next turn that they can't get through your creature.
Yep.
Protective Response, 3 mana, Convoke, destroy target attacking or blocking creature. With Convoke, in a Convoke set, I don't hate this. It's a little expensive, but it's kind of supposed to be because of how wide Kithkin can go. So I think this is a very good card. This is pretty close to what I think the Kithkin premium removal is going to be. I'm going to call this a 7.5.
I'm with you.
Sweet. All right, next up, 3 mana for an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may blight 2. Choose 1. Oh, we're going to draw so many cards off of our tree. Choose one. If the additional thing, whatever was paid, choose both instead. Destroy target artifact or enchantment and destroy target creature with mana value 3 or greater. I think this is excellent. 3 or greater for 3 mana is fine. We typically get that in black. So.
Yeah. Yeah, like Epic Downfall.
Well, no, not Epic Downfall. Because that's just kill something, right? It's usually a 3 mana spell, kill something 3 CMC or higher.
Epic Downfall was exile target creature with mana value 3 or greater.
Okay.
I think you're thinking of like Vanquish the Weak, which is like 3 or less.
Yeah, something like that. I think this is an 8.
I'm loving the naming of this card, right? Because like the whole concept of a Pyrrhic victory, right, is you win, but your own forces get kind of demolished in the process. It's hilarious, which makes sense with the blight, right? You're killing something, but you've taken quote unquote damage in the process with the counters. Except that it's a benefit sometimes. In this case, it's like kind of ironically named
because of the tree.
Yes.
Our tree is so good. I'm going to pack one, pick one, the shit out of that tree, and it's going to be excellent. I cannot wait to value grind my opponents into dust. Accidentally mill myself out. Rating-wise, I think this is an 8.
I think so, too.
All right, next up, 3 mana for another Kithkin. It's a 4/4, enters with 2 -1/-1 counters on it. Whenever another creature you control enters, while this creature has a -1/-1 counter, you can remove them. I love that, because you get to just continuously blight this thing. And white should have no problem shitting out a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, this will be basically anytime you want it. It'll be a 4/4.
Yeah,
except the turn you play it.
This card is excellent for only common. I think this is going to be a huge cornerstone for the Orzhov and the Boros deck. I absolutely love it, and it's going to make so many other cards like the removal spell we just saw, the aura, very, very good. You get that reoccurring value over and over again. And it's just an above rate creature in any sort of creature-esque deck, which white tends to be. So I don't think I'm ever cutting this. This is a 6.
Agreed.
All right, next up, 2 mana for a 2/2 with Flash. This is the 3rd Flash creature, which there was a reason why we cared about that. Oh yeah, the enchantment that gave you +X/+X. When it enters, another target creature you control gain persist until end of turn. You can pay 1, tap it, remove any number of counters from target creature you control, activate as a sorcery. Great. A little lowish impact, but because you can flash it in and save a creature immediately, that's cool. You can blight as many things as you want. Orzhov is going to love this. Boros is going to love this. Excellent card. 7.
7, I agree. And I will note that, yeah, this is the 3rd white flash creature we've seen, but 2 of the 3 are rare.
Shush, don't ruin my fun. I can dream. The thing about this card, though, guys, is we rated it a 7, but that's just because it's a 2-drop, right? Like, this is probably one of the highest quality 2-drops you're going to get or see in the set. The problem is that 2-drops can't insta-win you the game. Like, 2-drops are not game-ending dragons, so their rating can only go so high, and a 7 is crazy high for a 2-drop. So don't let that lower rating fool you into thinking that this does not win games, because this is the sort of snowbally effect that you want to overpower your opponent with. If you go 2-drop rare, 3-drop rare, you're winning that game, even if those cards are just 7s. Because they're playing a fucking 2/2 for 2. That does nothing. Next up, we have a 2 mana instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 and gains first strike until end of turn. You get to untap it. Yeah, I mean, these sort of combat tricks are always fine. I find that I don't play like Yip Yip very often. I almost don't run these anymore just because the 1 mana combats, like, or the combat tricks that aren't replacing themselves, giving you a clue or doing something, tend to, I feel like they've been a little power crept out, but it's still very playable and make the cut sometimes. So 5.
I think so. I tend to want my combat tricks to be 1 mana if they're not gonna like give me at least hexproof or indestructible or something like that.
Yeah. That's true. I'm only talking about the ones that don't give hexproof because those are all busted.
Yes.
Don't let me don't think that Snakeskin Veil is what at all what I was just talking about, because that card is insane. Next up, 4 mana for a 3/3 with flying. When this creature enters, surveil 1. This feels like a 3. These cards have not been making the cut.
It's like everything about that card reads perfectly fine, and it's so underwhelming.
It's super underwhelming now. Like these, I like these cards, but we saw like Cat Owl in Avatar, and yeah, it was playable, but every time I played it, I was very unhappy, and that's what this is. It's gonna be in your Merfolk deck, and you're gonna be happy it's a Merfolk, and then that is all.
Pretty much.
It's a 4. It's playable, but yeah, I'm not excited to ever run it. I probably won't run it much.
Agreed.
Slumbering Walker, 5 mana for a 4/7 giant warrior. This creature enters with 2 -1/-1 counters on it. At the beginning of your end step, you may remove a counter from this creature. When you do, return target creature card with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. That happens instantly. Like your end step, right? Assuming they don't kill it, as long as you don't play it into open mana. So it's a 3/6 that got you back a 2-powered creature. I think this is excellent. It's a little funky in the Boros deck, though, because most of those creatures are all huge with -1, that ETB with -1/-1 counters on them to balance them out. And this one won't see any of those. Like the Boros 2-drops were 4/4s.
Yeah, it basically can't get other giants, which is what a lot of those are, which kind of makes sense. If you're trying to get small things, you shouldn't be able to get giants. You can get your tree.
I love my tree. But what I wanted to point out was that this feels like a giant that probably has a better home in the Kithkin deck.
Sure. Yeah, I can see that.
Even though it's doing the Boros thing in the Boros creature type with the Boros mechanic, you probably just have more targets, and don't think you can't run it in something else, or that, it has a better home in Boros, because I don't think it does.
Now, it wouldn't surprise me if it was good in Orzhov too. That tends to have smaller size creatures.
Yep. Next up, 2 mana for an enchant aura. Can't attack or block, and you can pay 2, blight 1. Sacrifice this to exile the creature. I want to pay 2 to sacrifice the creature, or to exile your creature, to put a counter on my tree to draw a card.
I'm just saying, I'm reading every blight cost as just adding 1 and a white to draw a card in my head.
Yes, I can't wait. All right, YouTube, if we don't pack one, pick one. If I promise you, for the first draft we post on the channel, if I can pack one, pick one, a tree, I 100% will. If I don't, you guys can unsubscribe and yell at me in the comments.
It's like the pack has it's play booster, so it has 4 planeswalkers in it. Nope, tree.
Yeah. These cards are really good. There's been quite a bit of enchantment removal. I think we've seen 2 in white so far. Green always has a few. We've seen there's some blink and some, the flash uncommon bird to return a creature to your hand. So that's going to get around this. So it's not a super safe thing. So I wouldn't call it premium removal, but every single time, Path to Redemption from Avatar, these cards are excellent, and you're going to be wanting to play multiple. I think it's a 7.
The fact that the activation is super cheap too.
The fact that the activation lets you draw another card.
And is it instant speed? Helps there as well. Yeah, I like it at a 7.
All right, next up, 6 mana for a 5/6 with Convoke and Vigilance. This is the definition of fine. I want this on the top end of my Kithkin deck, so I can just go 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, 5/6 with Vigilance. I think this is very playable, but nothing exciting. 5.
There's not a lot. There's not enough text on this card. I don't understand.
Well, it has it's got 3 lines of reminder text.
Not reminder text.
It's refreshing, honestly.
Yeah. I think it's a 5.
All right.
For some reason, I see this card. I'm expecting to see plane cycling.
Fair. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because we've been getting a lot of that lately.
Yeah.
4 mana for an 0/5. Whenever a Kithkin creature you control attacks alone, it gets +X/+X, where X is the number of Kithkin you control. This is a split rating. It is a 0. Well, If a creature attacks alone, it gets +1/+1, which is not nothing. Zero's an exaggeration. I'm going to say this is a 3, because if you're in white, you're going to have some Kithkin, right? This is a 3, or it's like a 6. Because Team Avatar just kills people. Team Avatar is busted when you play it. It's so good. And now that's like an 8 or 9. I love that card. This is nowhere near that, but I think this is a very solid 6 in the Kithkin deck.
It might be. I don't know. I feel like I'm scarred from recent sets where it feels like these, like, particularly Selesnya go wide have not been good. But
the Avatar was great. Allies was excellent.
And I know listening to the end of year award show that Limited Resources did, the worst deck of the year was all green-white decks in every format.
That's
just that the entire archetype needs to be redone.
Simic. That's Simic.
No, it was. I would have thought it would have been Simic, but it was a lot of green-white and green-black.
No, Allies was excellent. It was one of the best performing archetypes. You saw the stats. We did the We Were Wrong video.
Yeah.
Therefore, you're wrong. I think this card is very good in the Kithkin deck, and I think it is going to be marginally playable if you have 5 or 6 Kithkin in your Boros deck. Whatever.
I also think it's split, but I'm like, I don't know, 1/5.
Okay.
Not 3/6.
Next up, we have a 2-mana 2/2. You can pay 5. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. These have been a little bit power crept out, but it's a Kithkin. I like it at 2 mana more than 3 mana, which is what we've been getting it at. I think this is a fine card. I'm going to play it in any deck too. It doesn't need to be a Kithkin deck for me to be super happy with this. 5.5.
This feels like the definition of a 5 to me. I just see this card and I go, eh.
Yeah, I kind of gave it a bonus because of the Kithkin part. Like, in that deck, I think it's going to be a house.
Yeah. I'm never going to play that deck, so.
That's true. Next up, 3 mana, 1/3 with flying. When this creature becomes tapped, another target Merfolk you control get +2/+0 until end of turn. Well, the fact that it can tap every time guarantee is really nice. I haven't seen white cards that have made Merfolk tokens. We've seen a few Kithkin tokens. So this feels like a signpost, but it feels like it might be a little bit more underwhelming. I think it's supposed to have a home. I'm going to say this is a 6. I'm completely guessing because I haven't seen blue yet, but I think my spidey senses are tingling that this is going to be a card I'm actively going to be looking for.
Yeah, I would imagine if we see any Merfolk tokens, they'll be blue. Because it looked like there's really the only tokens we're seeing in white are Kithkin and the one Changeling token.
Yeah.
So they may be restricting token making to like one type. I'm going to guess Changelings are probably everywhere.
Other Merfolks can fly, you know, that it could get pretty nasty. That's a big stat boost.
Yeah.
On a creature that already, like, I'm kind of fine with. For 3 mana, I'd rather it be a 2/3, but
for sure.
You know, that's okay.
Yeah, I think it's like a 5.
Okay, so we're 1 point off. Next up,
you said 6.
I said 6 on a huge spec.
Yep.
In the Merfolk deck, right? Obviously, I think it's a split rating if you're not in the Merfolk business. 2 mana 2/2. Whenever this creature becomes tapped, you gain 2 life. We just saw a gain 1 and scry, and that card was insane. This is a Merfolk. That's cool. Weird that there's like multiple gain life stuff randomly without that being an archetype.
Exactly. I'm thinking the same thing. Like, why?
4.5.
Yeah, I gave the Kithkin 2/2 5, and this is definitely worse than that. So 4.5 makes sense.
I think by quite a bit. I think I gave that one a 5.5. So for me, it's a whole point.
Yeah. Yep.
5 is kind of the line where I expect to play this some number of times. At 4.5, I hope I never have to. Next up, a 1 mana 2/1 Merfolk. You can pay 1, tap it and tap another untapped creature you control. Target creature, and then you get to tap a target creature an opponent controls. That's fine. And there was, we've seen 2 cards that want to be tapped to do something. So that's kind of neat. You can tap this and like the flyer to give your blocker +3 plus or +2/+0 and tap their other attacker kind of thing. So this feels like it's supposed to have a very good home and something I'm going to be actively looking for in Merfolk. Plus it's like fine stats anyway. So
Exactly. It's aggressively costed. So
6.
I like this a 6.
All right, and I believe this is the last white card. 6 mana for a sorcery with Convoke. For each player, you may choose a creature that player controls. Then, each player sacrifices all other creatures they control that don't share a creature type with the chosen creature. Huh.
So you play this in your Kithkin deck, pick a Kithkin, and you keep all your creatures.
Uh-huh. But what if they're in a Merfolk deck and they only have Merfolk? And then
you
it
just
does
spend
nothing.
6 mana you hope they have one creature that's not a Merfolk.
And if they don't, it does nothing?
They have a tree folk, and you pick the tree folk, and they just get to keep that.
You have to hope. It might do nothing. It might do actual stone cold nothing.
Yep.
But it would be kind of funny if you just got them for like one thing.
Yeah, I think I have to imagine the idea behind this card is that even in limited, at least, even the most dedicated tribal decks have some stuff that's not of that tribe, and you just hope they have you can at 6 mana by then maybe the board's big enough that they have one Merfolk in their Kithkin deck or yeah.
I think this is an interesting card. I like that it has Convoke. The white does have a lot of creature type association. It's got Kithkin, it's got giants, it's got Merfolk. So it makes sense that this is finding it a home here versus in black, where I think there are less creature type pairs with it. I mean, I'm joking about it doing nothing when you go typal against typal, but it's going to do something. So, I don't know. Board clears are always good. 8?
Yeah, I think so, because you should be able to find a way to make this work. And there's gonna be times, you're right, where it's a dead card.
This is the kind of card that reads funky, and like the funkiness usually steers me towards a lower rating, but it also reads funky enough to where it's just going to kill people.
Yeah, like
it's gonna be a one-sided board clear so often, honestly.
Exactly. It's a board rat that sometimes is pretty useless and sometimes is like a 6 for 1.
Mm-hmm.
With you having a board, not that you have to sit there and set it up that way.
Can you imagine a board stall and you're just like, I picked tree for you. Get fucked.
Yeah.
All right. Rating wise, 8.
Yep.
All right. That's the end of white. What do you think, Yanks?
A lot of Kithkin.
Less Merfolk.
Yep.
But really wide, really fun. I'm looking forward to white. For those of you guys who are on the YouTubes, thank you guys so much for joining us for day 10 of the 365 challenge. Please leave us a comment and let us know what you guys thought of the Lorwyn Eclipsed white cards. Let us know if there was anything you think we were wrong about. The engagement really does help the channel, and I would really appreciate your support. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you tomorrow for all of the blue cards coming out with Lorwyn. Bye, guys.